It is really cold in my room right now, so I have my little space heater set up right next to my desk. So if you hear this kind of in the background, that's what's causing that noise. I kind of noticed that in the video I uploaded previously. Why, hello everyone, and welcome back to SamCastGS, where I just spent the last 4 minutes trying to figure out why the screen brightness was dimming and brightening at a really upsetting fluctuation, and it's because the lighting in my room was off. I just had to adjust it, and so everything is good now, hopefully, so let's do this. Happy Valentine's Day, or Singles Awareness Day, or whatever you like to call it. I hope that it is a good one for you, whether you are in a relationship or not. Don't worry though, today we're not going to be explicitly talking about relationships. Today we're going to be examining some old sayings that are about love and things peripherally related to love, starting with the birds and the bees as a tie-in to my last video. Obviously this falls more into the category of peripherally related because it's not specifically about love as much as it is about intercourse. Sorry if there are any parents watching this with their children. I didn't mean to start an awkward conversation, but you know, you had to have that conversation eventually, right? So birds and the bees, it's supposed to be a metaphor about said action between people. I looked up the origins of this phrase before I started recording, and it kind of makes sense, but the problem is when you're telling a younger person about this kind of thing, they will typically take things that you say at face value. Hey Tess, where you going? Are you jumping on my bed? I actually made my bed today, so it's nice and professional looking because I'd like to have something resembling professionalism for these videos. So back to these two species that are in no way biologically compatible in the way that the metaphor is supposed to represent. In fairness to the saying, like I said before, I looked it up ahead of time, but it's supposed to be about the bees pollinating and then the birds laying eggs and then the babies hatch from the eggs, which you kind of makes sense in terms of, quote, pollination and eggs, but people don't actually lay eggs. They have the eggs inside of themselves. I'm trying desperately not to turn this into the actual birds and bees talk. This is not the place that you want to receive that information. Clouds, stop it! I am trying to make a video here and you're just dimming and brightening and dimming and brightening. Let the sun shine. At least it's better than telling children that a weird lanky bird carries babies through the air in a little blanket swaddle and drops it off at people's houses. I mean, what? Nothing about that makes even a little bit of sense. You're still kind of skirting the subject of where the babies actually come from. Do they just materialize and then the storks happen to be flying by and like, hey, a baby, might as well take this somewhere. But what if they get the wrong address and they drop a baby off at these people who are in no way planning to have a child? What are they supposed to do with the baby? There's a lot that can go wrong with this kind of system. It is dreadfully inefficient and their error rating must be ridiculously high. They're birds. Do you think they have adequate knowledge of mailing addresses? Anyway, I said that I would be covering multiple sayings, so we're going to move on to the next one, which is there are plenty of fish in the sea. There are a number of issues I have with this saying, not least of all that the sea is huge. Yeah, there's a lot of fish, but there's a lot more empty space in which you're not going to find anything, let alone a person to date, or rather a fish that you want to date, which is my other issue with this. Who's dating fish? Even if you're using fish as a metaphor for people, you're comparing people to fish. They might not be okay with that. There's some fish that look elegant and super cool, and then you have anglerfish. So I guess it kind of depends on which fish you're comparing the person to. I get that these aren't meant to be taken literally, but it's so much funnier when you do. If you love something, let it go. I feel like you should be more inclined to hold on to the thing you love. If your romantic attachment to someone is such that you're okay with them just leaving, they're not going to be swooned by that notion. I almost guarantee that they're going to assume that you're not interested and move on to someone who is more willing to stick around and commit to them. You need dedication and commitment in order to have a successful relationship with someone, and this doesn't seem like it contains either of those. I didn't cover as much as I wanted to, but that's kind of the nature of me rambling. I should probably move on to the dinosaur of the day. And in case you're wondering, I did learn to pronounce this name. Euoplocephalus, otherwise known as well-armored head. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but it's got some pretty impressive armor on its back as well. I mean, look at this thing. Why isn't it called well-armored back. Moving on, Ornithischia, Theriophora, and Ankylosauridae. Ha! I nailed it! Well armored and as solid as tanks, at least it's aptly named. Euoplocephalus and other ankylosaurs were plant eaters that bore an extraordinary array of defenses. Euoplocephalus, how many times are you gonna actually make me say that name? Was smaller than the huge carnosaurs, and with its massive hips and short legs was one of the slowest of dinosaurs. But even the most determined predator, like the Albertosaurus pictured here, he's getting the crap beaten out of him, would have trouble conquering this dinosaur. A lot of dramatic language in this one. Euoplocephalus's equipment included bands of bony armor interspersed with bony protrusions along the back, head, and neck. The tail bore a huge club that most likely served as a formidable defensive weapon. I stumbled over that, but I've had to go back and reread things so much in this one that I'm just gonna let that one slide. Physically 18 feet long and 3 tons, it is quite the heavy dinosaur. Bony plates equipped with knobs and spikes covered its back. Larger plates protected the neck. Bony spines protruded at the shoulders and the base of the tail. Head virtually enclosed in armor featured long cheek spikes and bony protective plates. Tail club formed of fused bone, large and heavy. That is probably the longest physical characteristics entry that we have had in this entire book. Fossil sites, once again, Alberta, Canada. They have a lot of dinosaurs over there. And the geologic age is the late Cretaceous. And that is the dinosaur of the day. Truly a romantic entry for this fine Valentine's Day. Next is Gallimimus. Hey, we all know Gallimimus from Jurassic Park. But we'll have to wait until next week. Thanks for tuning in. If you would like to subscribe, you're more than welcome to do so. I always appreciate more subscribbles. I will leave a link to my channel in the description as always. Hopefully I won't have any more crazy scheduling delays in the foreseeable future. Whether it be Valentine's Day or Singles Awareness Day for you, I hope it's a good one. So thanks for tuning in. Goodbye.